It is said that a man entered a kingdom and began wandering its streets, calling out, "I am a politician. I solve all problems and reconcile those who are in conflict. I am a politician." The king heard his call and summoned him to his court. The king said, "You are a stableman, meaning you train horses. I have a stubborn mare, and I want you to train her." The man replied, "My lord, I am a politician, not a stableman. Training horses is not my trade." The king sternly said, "This is an order. Go and take care of my mare, or I will have you killed." Frightened, the man answered, "Yes, my lord." The king ordered that the man be provided with 2 meals, rice and soup for lunch and dinner. The man began training the mare for several days, but then he fled. The king's guards captured him and brought him back. The king asked, "Why did you flee? Did you find a flaw in my mare that made you abandon her training?" The man said, "I will tell you the flaw in your mare, but grant me your protection first." The king replied, "You have my protection." "What is the flaw in my mare?" The man said, "Your mare is of noble breed, but she did not nurse from her mother." The king, angered by the man's words, accused him of lying and threw him in prison. Then, the king ordered the previous stableman to be brought in and asked him, "From where did my mare nurse? Or I will have your head." The stableman answered, "When your mare was born, her mother died. I found no milk for her, except from a cow in the stable. I feared your wrath and hid this from you." The king ordered the man to be brought from the prison and asked him, "How did you know my mare was not of pure breed?" The man replied, "A mare does not search for grass. It waits for it with its head held high. Your mare acted like a cow, lowering her head to seek out her food." Impressed by the man's insight, the king appointed him as an advisor to his wife, the queen. The man refused, but the king threatened him with death, so he obeyed. The king then ordered that the man's meals be supplemented with 2 chickens for lunch and dinner. The man served the queen for a few days, but then fled again. The guards caught him and brought him back to the king. The king asked, "What did you find in our queen that made you flee?" The man replied, "Will you grant me protection if I tell you?" The king answered, "Yes, you have my protection." The man said, "Your wife is a queen, but she is not of royal blood, as you believe." The king, enraged, imprisoned the man again. He then traveled to the neighboring kingdom, where his wife's father lived, and when alone with him, he placed a sword to his throat and said, "Tell me the truth about your daughter's lineage." Her father confessed, "Yes, she is not our biological daughter. We had a daughter who died at the age of 2. I had an agreement with your father to marry her to you when she grew up. When she died, we adopted a child from the gypsies and raised her as our own, and then married her to you." The king returned to his kingdom, freed the man from prison, and asked him, "How did you know about my wife's origin?" The man replied, "It is a trait of the gypsies to wink while they speak, and your wife often winks while talking." The king, even more impressed by the man, decided to appoint him as a servant to his mother. The man tried to refuse, but the king threatened him with death, so he accepted. The king ordered that the man be provided with 2 lambs daily for his lunch and dinner. After a few days, the man fled again, but the guards caught him and brought him back. The king asked, "What did you find in my mother?" The man replied, "Will you grant me protection?" The king answered, "Yes, speak." The man said, You are not the son of the king." The king, furious, threw the man back into prison and went to his mother. He asked, "Am I truly the king's son?" The queen mother tried to evade the question, but eventually confessed, "Your father, the king, was infertile. Despite this, he married a new bride every year from among the daughters of the kingdom, and after 9 months, he would have her executed if she didn't conceive. When he married me, I was forced to be with the palace cook, and that's how you were born." The king returned to the palace and ordered the man to be brought before him. He shouted at him, "Damn you! How did you uncover such a grave secret?" The man replied, "Kings do not reward with food. Every time you rewarded me, it was with more food. Only cooks are rewarded with food, not kings."